And hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to NXT with Najee, a part of the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders podcast, aka The Whip Show. We are now on episode 24, aka season 2, episode 4. This is the last episode for USA Network and NXT, the partnership between them two. We are moving to the CW, y'all, but the next couple of weeks, they're going to be taking it on the road. So they'll be in Chicago and then they'll be in St. Louis, but this was the last one in that arena for the time being. I think in 3 weeks we'll probably be back. And rumor has it that we'll have a new set. So that should be pretty cool. But yeah, no promos as usual. We're just going to talk about the matches. I do have a guest today, ladies and gentlemen, friend of mine. I actually met this guy in the line and in the crowd at NXT. We used to call him Hufflepuff because we didn't know his name, but now we're really cool. The sunglasses meme himself, Mr. Drew Bronson. What's going on, brother?
Nas, what's happening, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's a Sunday when we're recording this, and I'm off work, so it's beautiful, beautiful day. How about
Yeah,
yourself, man?
storm has finally passed. Things are starting to clear up here.
Oh yeah. Did you get affected by that hurricane whatsoever?
What hurricane?
Yeah, we live
That's
in
the thing
Central
here in
Florida,
Central
so
Florida. We barely get anything.
and nothing. We just get really terrible storms and winds, and that's really just about it. But nothing too
And I
crazy.
call that white
But
noise.
yeah. So you are an NXT regular. Like you've been going to NXT for God knows how long. How long have you been with the NXT brand now and in the crowd? Because it's been
My
geez.
first NXT TV, well, my first time attending NXT in person was Tuesday, December 14th, 2021. Unfortunately, that was the Tuesday after Waller jumped Gargano, and we haven't seen Gargano since up until recently. So I went in with a bit of heartbreak, but it was a lot of fun, and I've just been going regularly ever since.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's really a community. Like I talk about it weekly now that a lot of things are kind of changing, but it's quite the community, quite the family. You can't find anything like it anywhere out here in the industry.
No, and our friend John has mentioned before, the NXT crowd in Orlando may just be one of, if not the best wrestling crowds going right now. And I'm just thankful that I get to be a part of that.
Me too. Like it's a blessing and a half. I still can't believe it's a free thing. Like, but so what's one of your first wrestling memories as a kid? Like, what got you into wrestling in general? Like WWE, all the different brands and companies out there.
So before I actually became a big fan, my first wrestling event that I recall attending was a live tour event in the summer of 2015 with my father and my brother.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Family
And
affair.
it wasn't until after WrestleMania 33 in Orlando where I actually started to get invested into wrestling.
Dang. Yeah. I keep forgetting how much older I am than people sometimes. You said 2015. I was like, man, I was 25. But that's amazing that you got to do that with your family. And that's basically the same way I got into it too, was with my grandfather, just going to a show and falling in love with it. But we'll get to asking some more questions about you, Mr. Wrestling Movies. Speaking of wrestling movies, you want to plug your socials in really quick and tell people like what you do, where they can find you and different things you're into before we get into this week's show.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on TikTok and on Instagram at wrestle underscore n underscore movies. I'm on Instagram most of the time. I've just lately become a passive scroller on TikTok. Check out my stories. I post every now and then. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, all right, man. All right, well, we're gonna dive right into this final episode on USA for NXT. Now, first match of the night, we got Kalani versus Ren Sinclair for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Now, the Ren XT chant started immediately once the match got started, and Ren is just ridiculously over. Like she's won that whole entire crowd over. Every single person in that building loves her, except for like maybe 10 people, and that's a building of 400. So that's saying something. Kalani still looks dominant as champ, but a lot of people are still trying to figure out when this reign's gonna end, who's gonna beat her, why it's still happening. I completely support Kalani, but I know that there are a lot of people out there that find it to be a little bit boring and random. And I don't know, are you one of those people? Do you think that Kalani is doing great in her reign? Do you think that it's gonna continue? And if not, who do you think is gonna beat her?
Oh man. I have nothing against Kalani Jordan. She's a phenomenal superstar, and I think she was a great choice to be the first champion. But yeah, I do feel like this reign is getting a little bit stale because the NXT women's division is stacked beyond belief. And I feel like this women's North American championship is a great way to help elevate those new superstars. Like this past Tuesday, I, among hundreds more people watching in person, really wanted Ren Sinclair to win the title and bring more gold to the Ren QCC. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but I know some point down the line, another star is going to step up and their stock is going to rise.
Yeah, and like you said, unfortunately, it didn't happen. We were all there rooting for Ren, but we were also still trying to keep it, peaceful with Kalani and show her some love too, because she is talented. Like one thing that I noticed about that match is that it doesn't seem like she ever gets tired. Like, yeah, she gets beat up. Yeah, she gets, sometimes looks very soft in the matches, but she never gets tired. Her cardio is ridiculous, dude. Like you really don't see her out there gasping for air. And
You got
I
that
think
Roderick
that's
Strong cardio.
yeah. And I think that that's one of the reasons why she keeps winning over these opponents that we think is going to take her out. Who, well, we'll just say it officially. Kalani Jordan does end up winning the match. Like I said, Ren still looks amazing, but who do you think will be the person to dethrone Kalani? Who do you think it's going to be?
Mm. Give me Carmen Petrovic.
Carmen. Okay.
Carmen Petrovic.
We'll get into Carmen a little bit later, because she's also on the card tonight. But
Right,
that's
yeah.
I like that. I like that. I'm gonna ask you later as to why you think that and why you feel she'd be a good one. So now we're gonna move into the second match. Second match is the Good Brothers, Gallows and Andrews versus Hank and Tank. Now, now Drew starts smiling now because he's a full supporter. Hank and Tank. That man can match Hank's energy and Tank's energy like nobody's business. I've seen it firsthand. I also want to add that Drew is the king of the Ilya move.
Yes.
You've probably seen that
One of my
man more
greatest
times
moments.
on TV. He did have a longer hair, so that might be why you guys don't recognize him now. Well,
That's enough.
going into this match, um, Hank and Tank once again take the win over the Good Brothers, and I'm still trying to figure out why the Good Brothers are there. Like, I guess AJ Styles is missing, so well, not missing
Well,
because he's coming
actually, I
back,
just
but
saw that Styles is coming back to SmackDown, so hopefully they can get the OC
mhm.
back together on SmackDown. But to your point, yeah, I mean, yes, they did have a feud with the tag champions earlier in the summer, the Good Brothers, but yeah, what else is there for them to do? I mean,
Well,
if it was a way for them to get Hank and Tank over with the crowd, then I say they did it because Hank and Tank are rising in momentum. They're gaining the popularity, and very soon we could actually have them in the tag team title picture.
yeah. Well, like I said, it's good to see Hank and Tank win. It's good to see them continue to go, but like with the Good Brothers in that situation of them just kind of being there, I'm not quite sure what that's doing for them because the Good Brothers have been taking L's just over and over and over and over again. So Hank and Tank getting that win, I don't know if that's just like a stepping stone into them getting to the tag titles because they're finally healthy, because that's been a thing we haven't seen in a while. But congratulations goes out to Hank and Tank. Let's see where this goes. Do you think that this is going to be the start of a push? Do you think that they're they're actually going to start taking those steps up the ranks, or do you think this is the same old Hank and Tank amazing mid card talent? Or maybe they might get called up to the main roster. Who knows?
Well, not yet on the main roster, but yes, I do believe that this is a step up for Hank and Tank.
Yeah, big step up. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next one. We got Oro Mensa versus, I can't believe I'm actually gonna say his name, Lexus King, but I like to call him Alexis Jester ever since he told me he wouldn't sign my birthday sign unless I kissed his little staff thingy. No diddy. Um, so once again, King seems to be going through like a weird change in his character. He's trying to be like a good guy now, trying to be the baby face, slowly turn into it to maybe win the crowd over because the crowd's 50-50 with him.
Not with that
I don't
beard.
really, you're with it?
No, I can't get with that
I
beard.
can't. I can't either, man. Oh
That
no,
beard
no,
is a
no.
spray tan on his chin. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, it's one of those like stencils that you used to have as a kid, where you used to just take the spray
Yeah.
paint. But he's trying to act like the good guy and win the crowd over, but it's just not for me, and it's not for a lot of people. We're still trying to figure out a way to kind of get behind Lexus King. Um, Lexus had a chance for a dirty pin, put both feet on the rope, got a 2 count, decided to stop at the 2 count instead of making it a three, and said, I just can't do it like this." And then Horo rolls him up and does the same exact thing and gets the 3 count. It's like, but I can, and then basically gets the win. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one just because it is what it is, and that is a mid-card match. Both these superstars are really good at what they do, regardless of whether we're on their side or not. But Mensa gets the win. So now we'll go into this one. I have some questions for you, especially with this next one, because you've been there for a while. You've been through the Chase U drama. So we're going to talk about the Riley Osborne versus Ridge Holland match. Now, I can't put my finger on where the story's going. I can't. I don't know how it's gonna resolve. I don't know how it's gonna end. Because obviously Andre Chase is gonna wrestle Ridge Holland at some point in time. But on paper, the same thing should probably happen to where Ridge just dominates Chase. Because like no discredit to Chase or whatever. But why how do you continue this story with Ridge Holland? Ridge Holland obviously gets the win. Riley looks fantastic as he always does, but Ridge Holland gets the win. So my question is, what are your thoughts on the whole Ridge Holland and Chase U situation? And where do you think it's gonna go?
So I feel like this could lead to a big final match between Ridge Holland and Andre Chase. And I think it's not so much who's going to win, but rather how the match is going to be. Like, if we're going to have one final match between Ridge Holland and Chase University, it can't be a squash match. Give us, like, if it's on NXT TV, give us like 10 to 12 minutes. And if that's where it ends, at least we got a great match out of it and respect to both superstars.
Yeah,
And
do you think it's time for? Oh, I'm sorry.
I also feel like this is good steps in a direction to give character development to Ridge Holland because I feel like something that he's been lacking lately.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to be back up at the main roster anytime soon, or do you think he should stay put in NXT? I think he should stay put in NXT, especially with powerhouses like Oba and all of these different people who are more than likely going to pop back up. I think it's a good spot for him.
Yeah, I think no disrespect to Ridge Holland. I mean, he has, especially since the Big E incident, he has uh, been getting a lot better in the ring. And especially with the TNA deal, I would like to see him go one on one with Hammerstone.
Yeah, that would have actually been a great match. And since he's still lingering around, it could easily happen.
Of course.
Maybe Chase U hire some muscle. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe that's the solution to the Ridge Holland problem. They hire some muscle. They go get like Moose or something crazy. Like just they go do
No,
something insane.
no.
Because
Save Moose
that's
for
one thing.
Obafemi. If
I
they
don't
want
know.
muscle, they'll get either Jonathan Gresham or Jordan Grace.
I feel like Obafemi's time, unfortunately, is coming to an end with this whole entire Tony D situation. Like I'm worried. I really don't want it to, but they're really pointing it in that direction, and I don't like it.
Now, you mind if I ask you a question real quick?
Oh, yes, this is like one of the first times I think this has ever happened in the middle of the show. I like it. Let's do it.
Do you believe or do you think that the North American Championship is necessary for Moose versus Obafemi?
No, I think they're gonna make it that because of the crossover, and it seems like almost every single like situation between people has had to deal with a title, except for the Pete and not Pete, the Zach and damn, wow, that's crazy.
Zach and
West
West.
situation. Yeah, the Zach and West situation. That's
Yeah.
the only one that hasn't really had gold tied to it. Like Jordan Grace, every time she pops up, championship. Joe Hendry, championship. Basically the same thing. Like even Hammerstone, championship. Everybody wants a
Yeah.
piece of NXT gold. And that's why I also think that the Tonga twins, which I'll more than likely talk about all the time forever. I think the Tonga twins open the door for women's tag teams from everywhere to just pop into NXT because
Yeah,
everybody really really wants them and everybody wants to fight them, and that's money right there for that. But I'm actually perfect. This is a great segue into the next match because now you have Wendy Chu and Rosemary versus Brinley Reese and Carmen Petrovich. That's perfect way to roll into that one. So Nightmare Wendy character, love it. Absolutely love it. You tag her with Rosemary, which you literally lost your absolute mind when Rosemary came out. I saw that firsthand.
yes. Rosemary has been
Oh,
one of my favorites in TNA for a long time.
I love it. And the chemistry is perfect. It's so good. It's on point. Every single time those two even step foot in the ring with the acting to through the performing, it's everything. It's great. And so Brinley Reese and Carmen is a little random to me, and I get it. It's not super random because they've tagged before at house shows and different things like that. But for me, I think those two are both better as solo superstars. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line, it was a makeshift team because they both had issues with Wendy and Rosemary.
Hmm.
So I guess it was just like a one-off thing.
I hope so, but I rewatched the show back, and then they said the brand new formation of a tag team between these two, and it made it seem like it was going to be more of a long-term thing, like we'll see more of it. But I could be wrong. But that's kind of the vibe that I got from it, so that's why I'm making that statement on it. So after distraction by Ashanti the Adonis, who comes out and gives a flower to a girl in the crowd, which I'm pretty sure is a wrestler from another promotion, like an indie one. Um, she doesn't see Brinley count the lights and take the 3 count. So we have Wendy and Rosemary getting the W, which, like I said, is a great tag team. Is a reason why that division needs to come back and those titles need to come back. Like they need to just separate them. Like let the main roster have their tag titles. Let NXT have their thing. Granted, it is fun when the main roster talent does come and do their thing and try to get the titles or and fight for the titles. But yeah, so we're gonna move on to the main event of the night. Like I said, it's a very short card. Um, we got Theory and Waller versus Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander. Now, Javon's getting ready to go into the greatest match of his life, biggest match of his life against Randy Orton in 2 weeks. And I think that Theory and Waller being available to make this match happen, granted they're there for their tag team opportunity, the tag team championship opportunity. You couldn't have asked for a better warm up. You really couldn't. I think they're going to do that next week potentially too. Like Javon's probably going to take on somebody pretty big, or somebody you wouldn't expect him to take on as a surprise. Maybe even the Miz. That'd be pretty cool. um, but you got Cedric, who's also out there playing the Uncle Ced character with the both of them. And Theory and Waller look great in the match. Javon and Cedric do their thing, but Theory and Waller really, I feel like, are there to look strong going into the tag team championship match. And they end up getting the win. Basically, they get the win because Nathan Frazier and Axiom come out to try to, talk their trash and whatnot, and accidentally take 2 bumps with each other. Like one gets pushing the other, then the other gets pushing the other, and it kind of causes Javon to fall off of the rope. And that's how both finishers get applied to Javon, and he takes the L, which was super surprising because he's getting ready to go into a big match with Randy Orton, and he's taking L's. So like, who knows? Maybe he puts.
Yeah,
There's actually no. I'm not even gonna say that. I don't think he's gonna win against Randy Orton, but you never know. So how are you feeling about this Javon Evans push? Like, how are you feeling about that?
I feel very happy for him because the way I look at it, we have Orton versus Evans in St. Louis. I would label that as cutter versus cutter because you have that Montez Ford height level cutter that Javon Evans has against the RKO. Both of them could seamlessly come from out of nowhere, considering the aerial acrobatics that Javon Evans possesses. He could literally do anything off the top rope.
Anything.
So,
That man defies
yes,
gravity weekly.
this is why we next time Street Profits come to town, we need Montez and Javon one on one.
It would be incredible. I think that would be great with a title on the line, like a United States title or Intercontinental title. I think that's something that we could even see within the next like 2 to 3 years. Because Montez needs gold. Same thing. He's basically another version of Jey Uso. Like It's really what it is. Like the same way we felt when Jay just won that title, we would feel that way when Montez gets his chance. And it proved that in that Elimination Chamber match. 'Cause that was awesome. But
Yeah.
I'm striving away. I'm going away from topic here. So that's the end of the show. That is the end of the USA era. And we're now going into the CW era. And it was a great show. It was a lot of fun, very promo heavy. So that's why the card is super like short. Um, I'm excited to see what's getting ready to happen. There are a ton of matches on the card for next week in Chicago and CM Punk's hometown that are probably going to tear the house down. But we'll get into that in the next episode. I'm going to try to do a prediction show, maybe even just a quick prediction episode, like 5-10 minutes before that happens. But now it is the part of the show where I'm going to make this thing a split screen and we are going to ask some questions. Let's see how we do that. There we are. All right. So now, Mr. Drew, we have a little bit of a hot seat here for you. So now
All right.
we know that your handle is Russell in movies, right? So first couple questions are gonna be about wrestling, gonna be about movies. First question for you is what is your favorite WrestleMania match? What is your favorite one? What's the one that really sticks out to you?
Man, there have been a lot of great ones. I'm gonna have to say WrestleMania 39 Saturday, Owens and Zayn against the Usos for the undisputed tag titles.
Wow. That's very recent. I like it. I like it. Yeah, that was a lot of emotion. A lot of emotion, a lot of storytelling. Whole lot of it. All right, second question. What is your favorite movie? Favorite movie of all time? The one that gets you. You watch it a million times over and over again.
Oh, Ready Player One, no question. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies, my favorite Spielberg movie. Can't go wrong with a video game movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they did it to perfection. Great choice. Um, so who do you think is the best wrestler turn actor? Who do you think is the best one?
Batista.
Over John Cena. Batista over John Cena. You heard it.
I just
Over
think
The
of
Rock. Over all of them.
Batista's performance as Drax, especially in Volume 3 of Guardians of the Galaxy, where you get to see a little more heart from him. Like that just felt special, considering how he was on TV and wrestling and how he was when he first started as Drax. Like it was just a beautiful sight.
Yes. All right. You heard it. Over all the actors. Batista is Drew's number one. Now, like I said, we called you Mr. Hufflepuff. I need you to pitch to us as to why Hufflepuff is the best house, and then follow that with your favorite Harry Potter movie. Why is Hufflepuff the best house? As you see, I have my Ravenclaw flag here, so I feel some type of way about it. But I'm gonna let you do your thing. Let you do your thing.
Hufflepuff had Robert Pattinson. That's why we're the best house.
That's it. That's it.
That's
Period.
it.
That's all right. That's a solid answer. He was ready. So what's your favorite Harry Potter movie? What's your favorite one? Rest in peace, Maggie Smith, by the way. Professor McGonagall.
Yes, one's up. One's up for Maggie. Uh, hmm. Maybe The Goblet of Fire, movie number 4.
Okay, Goblet of Fire. That's my favorite book. My favorite one. It's great. It really sets the tone for like the rest of what's getting ready to happen too. That's when things start to get a little
Yes,
crazy. I
yes.
mean, Prisoner does it too, technically, because it's very dark. All of them are dark. So I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, man. But so here's my question for you. Do you think the Tonga twins can save the women's tag division? Shawn Michaels, I know you're hearing this. Say it every week. Say it every single week. Bring the Tonga twins to NXT. Do it. Anyway, sorry. My
No,
bad.
no, you're good. Get it out. Um,
What do you think about that? Do you think that they're the ones that are going to potentially really flip this whole entire tag team division? Because it needs help. It really does. Like,
and yes, it needs help in a way that needs help to showcase what more the women's division can do, whether it's long-term teams like Jakara and Lash and Metaphor, or makeshift teams that could go long term, like possibly Brinley and Carmen. I feel like if you have the Tonga twins, it could help put those teams over and hopefully bring back the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship.
Yes, please do it. It'd be great. We need it all. Well, thank you so much, Drew. Taking
Thank you for
time out of your
having
day,
me.
taking time out of your Sunday to come and talk to me about the final episode. It's been a run. It's been a great run. It's gonna be a whole entire new building, new look, new atmosphere when we get there. Thank you, man. If you have any shout outs, any plugs, anything you want to do for your social media, any family, anybody, man, this is the perfect time to do it, brother.
Shout out to my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister. Shout out to everyone in my close circle, especially you, man. Especially with just things that happen. Y'all are always there to support me as I am for you and all you guys. So just thank you so much for being my friends and being there for me.
Yeah, dude, we got you, brother. It's always about the vibes there. It's our family. Like I literally consider all you guys family. So it's the absolute least we can do for you, man. But plug your socials in. Let people know where to find you so they can hear about your wrestling and your movies.
Of course, you can find me on TikTok and mostly Instagram at wrestle_n_movies.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating in any way that you possibly can. If you guys have any comments, any predictions for the Chicago premiere for the CW for NXT, please leave them in the comments. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders podcast, aka The Whip Show. This is NXT with Najee. Well, we'll see you soon. I don't know if it's going to be, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I think this episode is going to be really good coming up in Chicago. So I think I will do a recap for that potentially. But don't, I don't want to make any promises and not keep them. But we'll see. We'll see you guys. Thank you again for listening. It's been Najee. It's been real. That's what I meant to say the first time. It's all right. See you guys later. See you.
So right, so right, so right. So right, so right, so right. So right, so right, so right. This feels so right, so right, so right. So right, so right, so right.